joining us. You have the fortune of hearing a little mini episode on dating. We outside.
This is very true. And gosh, when was the last time we talked about dating? Was that hard launch, soft launch?
Oh, it was. So at the season opening.
Yeah. And now we're at summer. And what's the theme? We outside.
Yeah, I want to be outside, okay? After years of being in the house because the world is trying to kill us, we want to be outside. I want to have a good time. I want to enjoy the sunlight. I want to, and I'm single, okay? I want to be outside.
Yeah. So with you being single, that also translates to we're in the streets. So by being in the streets, we need to talk about some things to be aware of.
Now, we can be in the streets, but not for the streets. Okay?
Ooh, yeah, semantics. I like it. Yeah. Unless you want to be for the streets. But I think we could come into an agreement right here, right now with us two that I'm not for the streets.
We know, yes, I will agree with you in this moment. And this time, you and I am not for the streets. Since we are outside, we want to think about what do we want to be aware of as we're outside.
I think one of the things that we want to be aware of with being outside are at the core, at the foundation, our intentions for being outside.
Yes, I agree. I think that's so critically important. What are we about, right? So for some people, they want to be outside with the intention of it's summer, they just want to have a good time. What does a good time look like for you? You know, that looks different. Some people want to be outside with the intent to maybe meet a partner, a romantic partner, to be all cuddled up with.
Yeah, and this whole thing of finding out what your purpose is. I think you mentioned talking with somebody and how they characterize the point of dating and how they saw it as dating is for marriage. And I don't think a lot of people see it that way.
Yeah, I thought that was so interesting that his thoughts were that's everyone's purpose for dating. Everyone has different purposes for dating. And I think it's about us not just setting our intention, but being honest with ourselves. Sometimes we'll say, oh no, I want to be that girl who can just have a bunch of casual situationships and just have fun. And we may want to be that girl, but the reality is we're not there.
Might be prone to catching feelings.
In our feelings, hoping that we could have changed someone that we weren't capable of changing. We lied to ourselves. We played ourselves. So yeah, we want to be honest with ourselves about what is it that we're really looking for. And I think that the opposite is also true. That sometimes we will say that we want a relationship and we'll communicate that we want a relationship with people. And we really don't. We're still getting over maybe a heartbreak. Maybe we are in a space where we're not emotionally available. Maybe we actually don't want to do any of the work of being in a relationship. We want that other person to do labor for us, but being honest with ourselves, being honest with the people that we might be interacting with this summer, I think that is the healthiest, most positive way to kind of move. And so just taking a little bit of time before we're outside to decide, what do I want out of this summer? Do I want to just meet a bunch of new people? Do I want to find out what really works for me when it comes to dating? Do I want to try out some sexual things that I have never experienced that I've been curious to try? Like, what is your intention?
Yeah, do I just want some attention?
Yeah.
Like, do I just want people to fawn over me? Do I want to just be out there being flirty and having a good time? Do I just have an itch that needs to be scratched? Like, yeah, have that moment, that time of reflection with yourself to really come to what you want this summer to be.
Yes. I think that's one of the first things to be aware of before you start to be outside. And then the second thing is, I think it's really good with whoever your crew is. Most of us have like our summer crew, right? We got our people that we roll with. I think it's good to have some kind of ground rules about how we're going to navigate the summer. And so some of those can be around safety. Like if we're getting in a vehicle of someone we don't know that we just met, that we're taking a picture of their their license plate, and we're sending it to them so that they're aware that we're with this person. Like if you don't hear from me in a couple of hours, like there's some kind of policy. Another policy might be like if we go back to someone's place that, we have nonverbals, of don't leave me alone with this person, or you don't leave the house. If we're all together, like we all stay together, we go home together, like we make sure everyone gets in safely. I know that in my younger days, the people that I mostly went out with, we always had a way to operate where we were very aware of each other's safety. We were able to do what we wanted to do, have a good time, have fun, but we didn't play around about each other's safety.
And it's one of those things too. I know how you just mentioned like having a policy. Sometimes things go unspoken, and I don't know. We're just in a time now where I think things need to be said. Because when you do have your hardcore crew for summer, yes, there are guidelines and rules, but sometimes you're with that like accessory group where they aren't your crew and they don't fully know the rules. And then it's just like, okay, how am I going to operate this? Because she's over there, he's over there. We don't even know where the other one is. Like, is this how we're doing things? So am I looking out for myself this whole time? Which, I mean, it's just one of those things where if things aren't spoken, you need to know what role you're playing in your group in a way.
You're right. There's all kinds of different groups of people you might choose to go out with, and the way you might navigate that is a little bit different. For me, one of my policies is like, if I'm drinking, for example, I'm never going to drink a lot with the group of people I don't know very well, who I just know are going to be thinking about my safety. I'm just not going to. I'm really not going to drink around people I don't know. But figuring out what feels safe for you, what kind of communication do we need to have with our friends? What is our backup plan? Like, do I got some money on this Uber or Lyft? If I should get in the situation they need to get home, like how will I get home? Just thinking about in advance, what do you need this summer to feel safe? So whether that's keeping condoms on you, whether that's having access to plan B, whether that is
making sure your Uber rating is decent, that you will actually have them come get you.
I don't understand that we all have an Uber rating. Let me try to play. I'm like, don't you be playing with my Uber rating.
Let's get into what's been in our feeds when it comes to dating. And I feel like you mentioned a lot about circling the block.
Yeah, I feel like I've always been against circling the block. I feel like,
wow, really?
Yeah. I know, even though you're saying wow, really, because I have circled the block.
Well, not even that. It's just an issue of, I guess I'm coming from the point of view of, I think I'm going to say 95% of people have circled the block. Like you go back to an ex.
For those that are not aware, when you're circling the block, that is when you might try to reconnect with an ex, right? Maybe they reach out to you, and let's be honest, they're reaching out to us, okay? Because we're not looking for them. So they reach out to you, and they're laying on thick, and there's history. You're familiar. Maybe there's still feelings there, and so traditionally, if it hasn't worked the first time, it's not gonna work any other time. But there have been some people like Ashanti and Nelly who circle the block, and we see her cute belly bump, and that seems to be working for them in this moment. So it is working out for some people. And I have circled the block recently a couple of times. Of course, I was not looking for them. I was minding my own business, okay, as I do. But anyways, we'll see what happens. So sometimes circling the block can be a really beautiful thing.
And sometimes you do have that long extended time in between before you go back to them. So you just evolve into a better person, a better partner, fingers crossed. So we'll see how that goes.
But on the not so good side is this drizzle.
Okay, explain to me what drizzle is. I know about the sprinkle, but what's the drizzle?
So the drizzle is weird guys' way of wanting to be in their soft guy era, but thinking about being in a soft guy era in relationship to what a woman can do for them. When I think about a soft girl era, I think it's more about just having softness in every part of your life. Dating might have a piece of that. But for them, the drizzle is, a woman paying for things, a woman spoiling and indulging them financially, and them not being really upfront about that until you're on the date and the bill comes, and then being like, drizzle, you're gonna pay. And again, I think in dating, I probably never mentioned this on the podcast, I think in dating, different people I don't really think that paying should be a gender thing. I think that, if I ask you on a date, then I expect to pay for the date. Or if it's been a really bad date and I don't ever want to see you again, I don't want you to pay because I don't want you to think you're going to have to see me again. Or, maybe you make more than the person that you're going out with and you're financially able to pay for, or maybe you're celebrating something for them. So I don't think that paying has to be a gender thing, but these drizzle guys, they're feeling like what they bring to the table is their handsomeness and their charm, and that they also had to get ready for the date, and so we should be paying for their company.
Oh, their handsomeness and their charm is what's coming into play. Like they're turning the tables on patriarchy in some weird way, but it's still patriarchy. Because traditionally, a woman, that's what she was allegedly bringing to the table are her looks and charm. That's so weird. Let's talk more about applying pressure. And kind of, I feel like that definition has been evolving a little bit. It initially started of just knowing what you want and going after it. And usually that it is a person. And it's just like, okay, this is what I want you. And yeah, I'm going to make sure that you know this. And then we're going to get together. And if it's relationship wise, but just applying pressure can go with anything in life. Like you can apply pressure for living your best life in 2024.
Yes, you can apply pressure to that boss that's getting on your last nerve. Mm-hmm. That you know that you're the one that knows how to do everything at work. And so you're going to apply pressure to get the time off that you need, or you're going to apply pressure to get the raise that you know you deserve. Yeah, I think the old school term for me was more like a woman who really wants to settle down and get married, and her guy doesn't want to get married, so she's going to kind of give him the ultimatum, kind of like applying pressure to get a commitment from a guy. I got time for that. Either you're committed and you want to be committed, or you don't. I think of applying pressure as, just like you said, being really directive about what you want. Like, looking a guy down that you want and letting him know, like, hey, I want you, being very flirty, being very direct and forward. You don't have to guess what I'm thinking, and so like you said, it also can be used in situations outside of being outside.
I mean, it pairs so well with knowing your intentions. Once you apply pressure to that, you can usually get what you want.
It was funny. I recently saw this podcast episode. I can't remember her name. And she was talking about applying pressure in the sense of like, girl, like, post all your hot looks, like apply pressure, like let them know that you're single, like apply pressure. Like she was like, apply pressure. And I was like, you know what? I'm not mad at this. I don't believe in posting something to get a guy's attention, because we don't need to do that. They're already watching, let's be honest. And I don't think that we need to move in that way. But this sense of you don't need to like hold back, like wear your cute outfits, like who cares? Like don't be so worried about like maybe someone's not going to approve of this. Just like apply pressure, like be you, be on 15 all of the time. That's how we like to move.
Yeah, I totally agree with that statement. That's nice. It's a good lookout. I dig that. Okay, so we've all heard the viralness of the woman talking about her summer, and it got turned into a song. How it's like the 6'5", blue eyes, guy in finance. So what would your traits be if your wanted traits for the summer were put into a song?
I need him to smell really good, and not just like, oh, he's wearing a nice fragrance, but like his pheromones, like his natural smell smells good to me. Also, he does need to have good chat. He needs to have good banter. Like when I talk to him, it should be fun. It should be playful. Like he should get it. Like we should be able to vibe, right? Also, he needs to be fine, of course, naturally. He needs to be intelligent. He needs to be someone who is like compassionate. This list could go on. I don't care about his height. I mean, he can be like, I'm sorry, short kings are great, but I personally am not attracted to a short king, generally speaking. Yes, I think those are the highlights. What would your bars?
Mine is if I was going off of the actual song, if I kept it to that length, I'm gonna go with 652. Though in general, I actually don't. I don't care.
Oh, okay.
I put beard, but even then, I still don't care about that. But I would like some type of facial hair. Is very nice. And I mean, we can throw in a little weird, but it's one of those things where I'm probably weird enough, so it'll be nice to have not a foil, but like somebody who's the straight man to my weird, awkward girl. Ooh, if he's even like a mildly an extrovert, not overly extroverted, but so he can work the room and I'll be sitting in a corner somewhere.
Yes,
That'd be great.
So extroverted that he needs you to work the room with him.
Right.
Yeah.
And he knows it's one of those things, like, have you ever seen a couple where when you're at a party and they're separate, but you can get a sense that they know where the other one is at all times. There's like this string or antenna that just keeps them connected at all times. That is such a beautiful thing. And I would love that.
I quite like that too.
Yeah.
Ooh, speaking of parties and a significant other, I like when a significant other like kind of guides you through a crowd. Oh, I really like that. Because to be that person that's blazing the cab is a lot of work. That passenger princess situation.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. I think it's one of those things for me personally where I have had to be in control and independent and blaze my own path with everything. Mm-hmm. So if I can just sit and be guided, that'd be so awesome and so restful and so easeful and just awesome.
It kind of reminds me of that question of like, what is a non-sexual thing that a guy does that's just like really like, oh my gosh, that's so nice. I think that's up there.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think it's up there when they remember something that you've talked to them about that wasn't maybe super significant, but they're just remembering a detail. Kind of like in Bridgerton where he went about her that song.
Oh, yeah. That is good stuff.
Oh, it is good stuff.
Very good stuff. Oh, I love it.
Are you enjoying the show? Subscribe and review to let us know what you think. And share this episode with a friend in your favorite podcast app. Thanks so much for listening to Emboldened with Jessica. If you want to keep up with us, follow Emboldened with Jessica on Instagram or Facebook. Until next time.